Welcome back, everybody. Obviously, there is a war going on between the YouTube gun channels right now, so I am dressed appropriately for that. In all seriousness, I wanted to make a video here kind of discussing what's been going on the last few days in the gun community. There's been a lot of accusations thrown around by various people, and I sort of want to address them step by step. So, for those that haven't been following this, essentially, John over at the Gun Collective contacted a few of us last week and asked if we'd be interested in discussing basically what's happened within our community since the Las Vegas shooting, to include how the NRA has responded to it and how people in our industry, particularly social media gun folks, have responded to it. Yes, if I'd be interested, I said sure. At that time, I didn't know who was going to be on. I think at the time I knew Tim and Eric would be there, and maybe James from 1776. Anyway, I was like, sure, absolutely, I'm always game for that. I think it was the first time they've ever done anything like that, so I signed up for it, did it this past Wednesday. I was on the road. For those of you making wallpaper comments, I may explain that further down the road in a different video. But the makeup of the panel was essentially some social media folks, some industry folks that aren't well known and aren't public figures. And there's that. That's basically where all that came from. Now, a couple of points I want to discuss. A lot of people were upset because some people were banned in the comments section. I have nothing to do with that. Just putting that out there. I do not run that. I would imagine that there's John and Adam from the Gun Collective who are moderating those comments, although I don't know, they may have other people. So for those people messaging me about that, talking to the wrong guy. Totally not what I do here. So just, we'll move on with that out of the way. Also, for those of you guys that didn't see it, the Yankee Marshal sort of released a response video calling several people out in the video. So I'm going to kind of go down a list of the people that were in the video, things that they were criticized for, and then sort of my take on it, if you will. So I'm only going to talk about the people I personally know, because other than that, I don't want to make opinions or say anything about people I don't know well enough to really comment on their motives, because if I don't know them, how would I know what they were thinking, if that makes sense? So first up is John himself, the Gun Collective. He took some heat from the Yankee Marshal for, again, the banning that I talked about, and also just for apparently pumping up the NRA. As far as I know, John makes absolutely nothing from the NRA, so I don't see why he would have any motivation to do that. So again, with the banning, I have no idea what the rules are. I don't do any live things, so literally I've never looked up the rules on YouTube. I have no idea. So that's sort of my take there. John's a friend of mine, has been for a long time, and I don't think he's anti-gun in any sort of way, nor is he pro-NRA. John's definitely made anti-NRA statements before in the past. Adam Kraut, his points that he made about if we wanted to actually change the NRA, the way to do it would be from within. That's a fact. That's absolutely a factual statement. So I'm not sure what kind of criticism could be leveled there. I mean, yes, he's running for the board of directors. Those of you guys that follow me on social media know that I supported him last year for the board of directors at the NRA show. I will probably be doing the exact same thing this year, unless something crazy happens. Adam's a good dude. And again, I think he believes that the NRA has a lot of problems, and that's why he's trying to fix it. So, again, not really sure that the criticism there is all that well-founded. Tim from the Military Arms Channel, of course, I've known Tim for years as well. Tim was being very staunchly opposed to any sort of regulation, gun control, anything like that. As anyone who watches this channel knows, I'm the exact same way. I 100% agree with him. The difference between probably how Tim and I communicate that is that Tim is very animated and aggressive when he's saying it. A lot of times, if you were to ask my wife, she would tell you that when I talk about gun control, I'm the exact same way. However, on video, I try not to do it, and try not to come across that way, rather, when I'm talking about it, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, rather than preach to the choir, I'm trying to present information in a way to people who are sort of on the fence or ambivalent, and try to bring them over to our side. So I try to take a little bit more of a calm approach, but a lot of people were really excited because Tim was really excited. And hey, good for Tim, good for the people that like it. There's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, that's just sort of my take on him for people who are asking me about what I thought with what he said. So again, don't disagree with anything he said. Chad and Eric, so let's discuss that. Chad was, I think, trying to go down an answer of, again, just my take on it, that if, like, that he doesn't really care about bumpfire stocks, and and thinks it's a stupid issue. And he was cut off, for those that watched it and didn't get to finish his point. So anybody who's trying to say he was saying anything anti-gun, I get how someone could perceive that who was watching it, but I don't take it that way. I watch all their videos. Literally, I watch every single IVA video. I know Chad personally. I've talked to him personally. He's not anti-gun. He's not pro-regulation. I know he's not. In fact, I had a conversation at the Brown Owl Summit about that very thing with him, about how laws can or cannot be regulated. I talked to him for like 15 minutes about it, matter of fact. So yeah, Chad is not anti-gun at all. Eric is not anti-gun at all. I believe he made a definitive statement in that video that he does not want to give 1 inch. I think he actually said that verbatim. So he's not anti-gun. And any kind of calling out about them is, again, kind of unwarranted as far as I can tell. What they do, obviously, they're the second biggest gun channel, for those that don't know, on the internet. And everything they've done for gun rights is far more than 99.9% of Americans. So to call them out on that is dramatic at best and insincere at worst. James from 1776. He's not a well-known guy. He was sort of reserved, and I don't think there was too many criticisms against him. But again, I just want to comment on his comments for people who are asking me, because essentially I know James. I've worked with James for probably 3 or 4 years now. Good dude. Again, he's not anti-gun in any sort of way. And then myself. So some people were saying I should have stood up more and started, talking more and all that stuff. So here's the deal. Prior to that actually going live, we discussed, i.e. we, the members that were sitting there, we were all on there at about 7:45-ish, and it went live around 8-ish. So we were discussing how to actually not talk over each other, because we had such a large amount of people on there, and at the time we were only slotted, I think, for an hour. It ended up going longer than that, obviously. By the way, I will put links to the actual roundtable discussion that we had over at the Gun Collective. I will also put a link somewhere in the corners here to the Yankee Marshals video, so you guys can kind of see that and see both sides of the issue, make your mind up on your own. But what I was getting at is that we discussed prior to going live how we would basically not just talk over each other the whole time. We all agreed to let John moderate it. So I jumped in once. That was unprompted. But other than that, I wanted to let John sort of prompt me, so that way I could let the other folks on the panel talk. And as you know, I don't want to be rude and jump and talk over people all the time. So while I could have done that, and there was definitely times I wanted to make points, without question. You guys, I think in the video you can see me like nodding, thumbs up, saying no, saying things like that with my body language. But again, I wanted to let people make their points and respect their opinions in that way. And last thing I want to discuss here is basically what this has done to our community. So the Vegas shooting sort of drove a wedge in our community, because a lot of people who are, generally speaking, going to support gun rights, some of them didn't want to support bump fire stocks. Now I'll speak to that, how it kind of came across on my channel. I made 2 videos on the subject, and I received, I would guess, approximately, this is on my Facebook page on YouTube, like I say in every video, I don't see all the comments. I probably received 500 to 600 messages regarding my stance, i.e. not 1 inch. We do not give anything into gun regulation ever, never, not once, not ever. We need to go on the offense and claim our rights back, repeal Hughes, the 1934 Gun Control Act, all that stuff. So that's my stance, right? And I probably received 95 to 96% support on that, and the rest were very opposed to that, saying that I was making the gun community look crazy, and that my stance was unreasonable, and etc. That's fine. People who think that they're entitled to that opinion, I wholeheartedly disagree with that. But so yeah, so that's, I wanted to make that point, in that the shooting and then different channels' responses to the shooting has created a division within our community. So, for instance, the Yankee Marshal and I, at least when it comes to gun rights anyway, probably agree on 99% of things. That could probably be true, at least probably 95% of the time, with everyone who was on that panel. But what has happened was, if you go, like, for instance, right before I made this video, it's currently 6:15 on Friday. So right before I made this video, I was over on Iraq Veteran 888's Facebook page, John from the Gun Collective's Facebook page, and I went to one other one. Who did I go to? One of the other panel members, like, oh, Tim. I went to the Military Arms Channel Facebook page and saw the post that people were making just to kind of see, right? And of course, everyone was cheering Tim on, which that's great. Totally cool. Not an issue. But on Iraq Veteran 888's page, on the Gun Collective's page, people were crushing them and saying things that were not only expressing disagreement, which is fine. Like on my page, I have no problem when people disagree with me. You guys can read my comments. You'll read the comments of this video and see that I do that. And oftentimes I'll even like the comments that of people disagree with me as long as they make a valid point in their objection. But what was going on those pages was not that. It was people name calling, people insulting people's families, and it was like we were in like freaking 10th grade. It was ridiculous. Probably 5th grade, even better. We cannot be divided, guys. And what's happening when things like this happen is that all these gun grabbers on the left are watching this and they're laughing, and this is the best possible outcome they could have for this type of scenarios, is to have those of us who are in this community and have the social media reach that we have infighting. I made the point on the Gun Collective video that we are more powerful than the NRA, and I 100% without question believe that. The people who do what I do, you know, the top, whatever, 15 channels that do what I do, we are way more powerful than the NRA, and it ain't even close. We're 5 to 10 times more powerful than the NRA when we're combined and working towards the same goal. When we're divided and name-calling each other and our fans are being divided amongst each other, it's fans, I should say viewers. I hate that term, but that's a side note. When our viewers are divided among each other, it does no one any good. Especially when it results, or rather when it takes the form of name-calling and childish insults rather than a discussion about how we can really all see eye to eye and move the cause of freedom and liberty forward that we all want ultimately in the end. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to close it out there. I ranted probably longer than I wanted to do. This video will just be on Facebook and on the B channel, and the reason for that, for those wondering, is I don't want to put this kind of crap on my channel. I don't want my channel to be about this type of division. However, I wanted to answer the questions that you guys are filling out my inbox with every minute now. So hopefully this video will be up here soon, and we'll be back to reviewing regular normal stuff on the channel. I think the Vortex Huey is up next on the main channel, probably tomorrow. Anyway, that's it, guys. By all means, leave your comments down below. If we get into childish name calling and things like that, I'll probably ban you guys because I think it's absurd and we do not need it. So that's it. Thanks for watching as always. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for supporting the other folks on the panel, and also for supporting the Yankee Marshal. This is not an attack on him. He's free to say what he wants to say, and he's free to express himself as he wants to. But I really think we need to come together on this one. And that's it, guys. Thanks.